So, we're 6.7 square miles, and if you take up the roads and the river, we're probably more like 4.8 square miles. And so I think about how close we are to each other, that sometimes the social distancing isn't really possible. But that's why staying home if you're sick is important. That's why social hygiene is important. That's why we put such a serious emphasis on the masks. What we learned during the reopening committee research that provided for us was that testing and tracing can bring the R naught down 2.5 points, or 2.5 points. But a mask, worn all the time by as many people as possible, can move it like 1.7. So yeah, we're going to do the testing and tracing, but the mask, if we put the mask involved, we will slow down the spread. So that's been a problem for us. The language issue, I think people who are immigrants in our community come here leaving really bad situations, and so they come here expecting better situations. So unfortunately, some of them have come during the gas crisis and then also this. And so we're making sure that some of the poorest and the most needy amongst us get food. That has not been an issue, thank God, from the Boston Food Bank and places like that has made sure that we get the funding that we need. The governor's effort to do the Commonwealth Fund, that money has come to our community foundations. Those types of things have been very helpful. But again, not knowing everybody who has it has been the biggest stumbling block. Because if somebody has it, you can just tell them stay home and quarantine. But if they don't know, they're going to go to work. And again, we have the workforce of the Merrimack Valley. They're not going to work in downtown Lawrence. They're going to work in Tewksbury, to the Demoulas, the Market Basket warehouse. They're going to go in Newburyport to a restaurant. They're going to go to Lowell in a restaurant, or to deliver boxes at one of the other warehouses. So this testing was like the final notch of all the things we did.
Can I ask Governor Baker a question, Governor, about Memorial Day weekend coming up? I know the planned States beaches will be open Monday, and yet they're already very busy today, as you might imagine. What do you expect?
Well, first of all, I want to echo what the mayor said, which is that it's very important for us to respect the power of the contagion in this virus, and to recognize and to understand that we have things we can do to prevent the spread. The biggest thing we can do is to wear a face covering if you can't keep distant from people. And there's a lot of studies out there that show if two people are wearing a face covering, that takes 80% of the opportunity of that virus to move from one person to the next. Distancing, hugely important. Hand washing, sanitizing. These are things we can all do. We just have to do them and do them regularly. And my advice to everybody over the weekend, I would be the same advice I would give to my friends, I would give to my kids, I would give to my neighbors, which is respect the virus and understand that distancing and face coverings, if you can't stay distant, are your two greatest allies in preventing the spread. And the other thing I would say, and Lieutenant Governor and I have said this many times, one of the big things we've all learned about COVID-19 and about coronavirus generally over the course of the past 4 or 5 months is how many people can get it and give it to others and never know they had it. Back in January and February, people said, gee, there seems to be about a 3 to 5 day period of time here before people start showing symptoms. And then as you got from February into March, people started saying, well, there actually may be some group of people, don't know how many, who are never going to show symptoms. And then as we got a little farther along, people started saying, based on the data and the research, that maybe as many as 20 to 40% of the people who get this never show symptoms. And that's why if you feel healthy and you feel good at this time in this Commonwealth, if you can't distance yourself, you should wear a face covering, because you may in fact be a carrier. And a lot of people spend a bunch of time on Memorial Day weekend with family. Family usually means things like moms and dads, and in some cases, grandmas and grandpas. Wear a face covering, not only for yourself, but for the people you come in contact with. This is in many ways one of our greatest weapons in the fight against COVID. And wash your hands a lot, sanitize, keep the distance. Be careful. People have worked really hard and given up a tremendous amount over the course of the past 8 or 10 weeks to bend the trend on this, and we succeeded. And it's because of the work that everybody did that we're now here in a position where the mayor can serve on a reopening advisory board that's chaired by the lieutenant governor, and we can start talking about a gradual, careful, data-driven, phased reopening. Don't let a few nice days step on that. We need to continue to make the kind of progress that we've all made in battling this thing for the past 2 or 3 months.
Governor, Mayor Walsh yesterday said he didn't want people looking at the beach. Are you willing to go that far? Did he say that?
I think if you're going to go out, be smart. Be careful and respect the virus. I mean, a lot of people in my neighborhood, I live a 5-minute walk from a beach. My wife and I walk our neighborhood all the time. It's one of the few things we've been allowed to do under the advisory. Sometimes we go down and we walk along the beach. But we keep our distance. And many times, most of the time, we wear face coverings. This is not about vanity, folks. It's about the safety and the health of your friends and your families. And it's about our ability as a Commonwealth to continue to move forward on a phased basis and make it possible for a lot of people who lost their jobs, many of whom live in communities like this through no fault of their own, to maybe have a chance to go back to work. There's a lot at stake here. Please be careful and respect the virus.
Will State Beach parking lots remain closed this weekend, and will they open Monday? Is that the way?
That's the plan, yeah.
This is a question for the mayor. Mayor, you mentioned testing.